Come on in, Mike.
Hi.
Mom, this is Mike, and I think you probably know him from the Access Center.
Good morning, Mike. Nice to see you again. Thanks for having me here. I believe we have. Your mom called me yesterday, and there are some issues and some concerns that I think you wanted to discuss about.
First of all, thanks for coming, and it's really unfortunate that we've met this late in the game, because my understanding is that our mom is being ready to be discharged from home care, and that was not our understanding. And we, as a family, I have several brothers and sisters that live quite a distance away. It was not our understanding at all for her being on home care, and we're quite concerned about that.
She was the one who actually called me yesterday that she wanted the services to be discontinued. She's telling me that she's independent, she's doing her exercises, she's able to do her personal care, her bathing, and
quite honestly, I think that's ridiculous. It's a 75-year-old lady. She lives alone. Her family are several hours away. And we were under the understanding that this is the service that she would have. This is how it happened in the first place. She fell when she was in the bathtub. And this is what we're concerned this is going to happen again.
Yeah, but Susan, you say I'm 75. I feel fine. I'm okay.
I know you
again.
feel
And
fine, Mom, but that you fell in the first place.
I know, but it was a little accident that can happen to anybody. I'm so okay in my own house.
But it's really unfortunate. We have not been included in the conversation at all, and now we're being told she's being discharged?
actually, just before I wanted to continue, I just wanted to ask your permission how much.
Of course you have permission.
Yes.
How much I'm able to share with your.
You just can tell them, be honest. I want to be home. I don't want to go in a nursing home.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
Just wanted to ask you, because we do not have a power of attorney on your file, so I just that is the reason why we haven't been in touch with you, with the family member.
Well, that's really unfortunate, because, like I said, she does live alone. We are our only children, and we have not been included in this conversation. And so now we're being told that she's being discharged. And quite frankly, we're very upset about this.
But you shouldn't, because I have neighbors, I have friends. They take care of me. I'm never alone.
But she did have the service, though. She did have the service,
I did.
I'm only going by what we're mandated to service clients. It's
mandated to service clients. She's a senior. She needs this help ongoing in her home.
Oh, I don't think I need that.
But it's according to her needs, not what you want, what she wants. And actually what she wants is to be discharged. She's saying that she's independent.
And what happens if she falls in 2 or 3 weeks and ends up back in the hospital, and that she fell because she was in the bathtub?
Somebody's there to help me.
Somebody's there to help you, Mom. The fall could be worse than it was this time.
Oh, but we don't.
Well, that's why we did put the occupational therapist in, right? You guys have all the equipment. You have the bath bench.
Yes.
You have the tub rail. They have the grab bars. So these were the things that led to the fall, and that was all assessed by the worker, by the therapist.
Mike, obviously this conversation is not going anywhere. We are very upset that our mother is being discharged from the CCAC. We are feeling that she needs this ongoing support. She lives alone. We are 100 miles away. We are not happy with this decision, and we are planning to call the manager and the MPP.
Outstanding care. Every person, every day. Where we just got to was, I want to talk to the MPP. Obviously, not where we want to go. So let's unpack this situation and understand what was really going on here. I talked to Mike, and one of the things I asked him, so what would you do differently? What would protocol be? And he said, you know what? One of the first things we would do in a situation like this is sit down at the table. I got so engaged, and what was coming from Susan caused me to be in defensive mode that I skipped that piece. And it ended up, we were standing in a conversation which can tend to make it more confrontational, as opposed to that collegial type of interaction that can happen at a kitchen table. So that was one thing. The second thing is, he was clear that in terms of pull conversation, it wasn't really happening. And when we say pull conversation, number one, the ability to step into the client's world, the client family member's world, and to be able to see the situation through their eyes, and then to be able to reflect back what that situation means to them. And so, for example, we're clear that in Susan's world, what she was talking about, what was underneath that was, I'm 300 kilometers away. I care so deeply. I am so concerned about my mother's safety, and potentially there could even be a little bit of a feeling of guilt there, of not being able to be there for her mother. And so that whole maelstrom of emotions, that has to somehow be seen by Mike. It has to be reflected back so that she gets that he really understands what's important to her. So there are opportunities for Mike to be able to step in and say, you know what, if I were in your situation and this was my mother, her safety would be my utmost concern. And so we have some common ground here, because that is very, very high priority for me as well. And to be able to create that sense of, okay, we've got common ground, and I'm reflecting back that this is highly important for you. The second thing that we want to be able to do is to help the client be able to step into our world and see the situation the way we see it. There's clearly an education piece here in terms of what is possible and what's not possible, but we want to get to the best solution that we can. If we can actually draw them into our world and help them see some of those things, we can start to get the building blocks to create a bigger solution. And by the time we get to the end of this, some of those bigger solutions could be things like an electronic alert device. It could be friendly visits or friendly calls. We could have neighbors or church members who are going to be coming in and checking on Mrs. Smith. We can't get there unless we can learn to manage the emotional aspect. There's an emotional intelligence understanding here that needs to happen, that if this person's limbic system is firing, their ability to bring the best cognitive game to the table is severely jeopardized. And so what Mike wants to do is step in and be able to do some things that will manage his amygdala, his emotional intelligence, and to be able to calm Susan's as well. So that's where some of these skills of interest and openness and being able to reflect and really understand where the other person is coming from is going to be so crucial. So let's take a look at the next situation as Mike starts to bring more to that.
Mike, thanks for coming to meet with us today to talk to my mother and I about the home care services that she's been getting. As you are aware, she fell and she was in hospital and she came home with services, and she's been home 7 or 8 months now with home care services. And our understanding as a family is now you're planning to discharge her from care. And first of all, I think you need to know that we as a family are upset that we haven't been included in this plan all the way along, that she's going to be discharged. My brothers and sisters, we live, several hundred kilometers away, and we haven't been included, and we're are concerned for her safety in her home, and we're just upset about the fact that she's going to not have this service any longer.
Must be very frustrating to live very far away.
Very frustrating and very concerning.
Yeah, and also probably even helpless, knowing that mom's living at risk, and also feeling that you've been kept out of the loop. Not just you, also your brothers and your sisters.
Right.
And I wanted to explain first is that it's not an oversight that you guys were not informed. It's because your names were not on the list for the consent. And I just wanted to ask your mom, just before we move forward, if it's okay for me to share the information with your family, so that we could
I can
discuss about your care better.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Just share with them.
And one of the concerns that your mom brought up when I did the visit a couple weeks ago was nursing home. You probably can.
Yes, as my children want to put me in a nursing home, and I absolutely don't want that.
We want the most.
Don't want that.
We want things to be safe for you, Mom. We don't want you to fall and not be able to stay in your home.
And I can understand that, but I'm not old enough to go to a nursing home.
And what I'm hearing, what your mom is saying, is that it's more so like the fear of the losing of your independence.
That's true.
And then, if I remember correctly, when I did the visit a couple weeks ago, you were mentioning about you know, you want to have a sense of peace within you, and also a sense of peace within your family and within your children.
I don't want anything between us, but they have to understand that I have my home, my friends, they look after me, my neighbors, and I want to be home.
And I wanted to let you know as well, Susan, is that what you're concerned about, correct me if I'm wrong, is about your mom's, basically we're talking about your mom's safety at home.
Yes.
And that's, could be your safety, everything is related to you living so far away.
Right.
It all boils down to your
I
safety.
understand,
And
I
that's
understand
where
that.
actually Susan is coming from as well.
Yes.
And I hear what she's saying. She doesn't want to lose her independence as well. However, we want, to ensure that there's as many things available in the system to keep her as safe as possible.
Just before we proceed, I just wanted to, some themes that we have been discussing earlier is that basically you're concerned about mom's safety at home, you're concerned about losing your independence, and also you want to have that sense of peace within you, not only within you, but within your family as well. And you know what? That's what we want as well.
Yes.
So that is our role.
And maybe that's not something we thought about.
And you know what? There's a frustration as well when you were mentioning earlier about not getting the information at the right time, not being kept out of the loop, so to speak, right? And you know what? It is very frustrating, and that's our role, is to help you guys navigate through the system.
Yes, because I know the kids love me. They want the best for me.
And some of this, we could probably talk about possible solutions. One of them is like the electronic alert system, whereby when you press this button either on your wrist or a necklace, let's say you did have a fall or have a heart attack, the appropriate authorities will be informed, and the best part is you will be informed as well, so you won't be kept out of the loop. So that's only one of the services that are available for having your mom stay safely at home. However, I'm just trying to figure out, in your mind, you probably thought that you want the services to stay indefinitely.
Right.
But there are more resources out there in the community, not just CCAC, that are available out there to have mom stay at home safely.
Yes.
And
that's what you would like to hear.
And that would be great if we could learn more about what is available in the system.
Yes.